the #1 Costa Rica real estate and investment podcast, bringing you experts from all over Costa Rica.
Good morning, guys, and welcome to episode 263 of Costa Rica Real Estate and Investments with me, your host. Today, we're going to be talking with Luis Fernando Rojas. He's an engineer and owner of Rojas Consulting Group. Basically, a company very similar to ours that does due diligence on properties, especially land design, permitting, and project management, kind of overseeing the builds. One of the guys in my office was like, Rich, why are you bringing a competitor on to the program? And I said, dude, the whole idea behind this podcast is to get great people in front of people and share our knowledge. And that's always been my philosophy and always will be. It doesn't matter whether we're in the same, I would say, sphere of work, and there's enough work to go around. And again, I think it's more of a tide rises, all boats rise philosophy in my office, and I think Costa Rica as well. So it's going to be an absolute pleasure to get him on this podcast. Remember, guys, if you are looking to do anything here in Costa Rica or even invest, we have quite a few investment opportunities. I think we've got some new stuff coming on starting at $50,000 as well, up to, I think we've got stuff at about $162,000 for a share in Now. You can feel free to reach out to us, info@investingcostarica.com, info@investingcostarica.com. And actually, we'll start to include just a link down there so that if anyone that's interested can kind of jump in and see a little bit more information about some of the stuff that we have going on. But anyway, let's get straight into the podcast. Good morning, Luis Fernando. How are you doing?
Hey, Richard. Nice to be here. Thanks for giving us the space to share with you some info.
Not at all, man. It's an absolute pleasure to have, I would say, another project management development engineer on the podcast as well. So
That's it.
I mean, it's kind of a bit of a new role in Costa Rica, kind of the owner's rep project manager, and like a lot of people are like, oh, well, why do I need it? And then you hear all these horror stories of, they happen all the time. It drives me nuts, Luis Fernando, when someone's like, yeah, I've bought a piece of land. I already have my builder. And I'm like, what? Like, you're not going out and bidding your project? Like, why would you lock yourself in with one builder right from the beginning?
Exactly.
Also, he's going to be the architect. And I'm like, wait, your building company, who's kind of more engineering, is also going to be your design art guy. Like, those two parts of the brain don't often work together. But anyway, I'm sure that we'll talk about it. But Luis Fernando, how would you describe 2025 so far as it comes, like in the volume of your work, your company? Like, are you seeing it speed up, slow down? It's pretty steady.
Well, we will have to look at it from different perspectives, but on an overall thing, I think it has been steady and diverse because on the high season, everybody wants to build. Everybody wants to come and buy and have their house built in no second, right? But in the slow season, we also have clients and people want to develop or build, but um, it's more selective. The people, I don't like to say this, but they can be a little bit more smart about the investment, right? Because it's not like a romantic thing, right? Oh, I'm in Costa Rica, I want to build, I want to buy, and then they go and buy crazy prices and they build crazy things with crazy prices also, but just because out of the romance of the thing.
Yeah.
But on the slow season, we yes indeed find some more selective clients. Obviously, the workflow is lower, but or slower in this case, but we find like more selective investors that we like to call them, or clients. But let's say it has been steady. We have an office in Tamarindo. It's our main office in Guanacaste. And everybody's talking about the bubble, of the investment, that Guanacaste is going crazy, that Guanacaste, the new Jaco and the new Pacifico Central. And well, yes, indeed, we are having that behavior like back in 2006-7, prior to the 2008 crash. But I think this bubble that we're living in Guanacaste is infecting in a good way all the Pacifico Central, because new developments are coming, more people are buying the Pacifico Central, also here in the Pacifico Norte. But I think this bubble is a more steady one. We really believe that if we manage to direct the people towards the right direction, I think this bubble can, last 20, 30 years for our companies.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you mentioned there the Central Pacific because I'm in Manuel Antonio today, and I think it's an area that like developed heavily like in the 90s and 2000s, and then kind of slowed down.
Hmm.
Everything then kind
Hmm.
of focused more to Guanacaste, but I think because of the price spike up there in Guanacaste, people are now looking
Sí.
here in the Central and kind of Southern Pacific a little bit, down towards Uvita, Ojochao, those areas, because it's just so jungly. I mean, I'm at the canopy level right here, looking out at the canopy. You don't get that up in Guanacaste as much
Yes.
the Northern
Yes.
Pacific and the wildlife that we have here. So
Sí.
yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, look, builders are now coming, they're not as busy, architects aren't as busy. So things are definitely slowing down. I can see that. But what is still
Hmm.
probably pretty heavy is you still have the developers coming in to develop. Maybe not as heavy as before, but like maybe because those projects take 3 or 4 years sometimes to get started. So we'll still
Sí.
continue to see them. And that luxury end of the market is definitely still there as well. That really high end luxury market. And, we have some of those developments
Sí.
as well. I think it's kind of more that condo, up to $1 million has kind of slowed down a little bit because we're starting to see those prices come down pretty heavily as well.
Totally. Totally. And also, Richard, one pretty important thing is that, and you said it, a lot of clients or investors are moving down to the Pacifico Central because of the prices.
Yep.
But the sad reality, and I don't like to say this about Costa Ricans, about my people, right? But sadly, it's a behavior that we are producing, and I'm talking about ticos because tico owners in Guanacaste are are putting crazy prices towards the lands,
Yeah.
and we have talked to several real estate companies here. And I'm in my office in Tamarindo right now, and we have talked like to seven of them, like the big ones here, and they all say the same. The highest prices on the land, even without water, are coming from Tico owners because they say, "Oh, everybody's coming to Guanacaste, so 100K piece of land now is worth 400K, half
Yeah.
a million because so it's a behavior that we are producing. So until that behavior comes down from our people, even, and also some guys are investing because if they come and invest and buy cheap land and try to sell expensive, obviously the clients or investor, even our clients in Guanacaste or clients that want to be in Guanacaste, we are also offering them to go to Pacifico Central because with a half a million of a land in Guanacaste, they can build and buy and build a landing in Manuel Antonio, in Quepos, in Jaco, and a super good one with the same $500,000, right? So it's crazy, but it's part of what we're living right now. Yes.
Well, and also the demand in the Central Pacific is just as good, if not heavier, than it is up in the northern areas because there are so many beach locations there. Like in the Central Pacific, your areas are really Jaco, Playa Hermosa, and then Manuel Antonio. I mean, there are other stuff
Hmm.
along there, Este Rios, Bejuco, and stuff, but they're
Hmm.
beaches. Like, it doesn't have the infrastructure that like Jaco or Manuel Antonio has. Whereas up there, you guys have Tamarindo, Playa Grande, you've got Avianas, you've got Flamingo, you got Las Catalinas, then you go Coco, and like it goes, there are a lot of variety of different areas. Whereas here on the Central Pacific, you don't. Like you have these little jut points that point out,
Sí,
but also the land is limited as well because so much of it is protected.
sí, sí, also, yes.
So it's an interesting, like, look, I'm heavily invested in, Mammon Antonio and La Fortuna, just because that's
Mhm.
everybody wasn't looking, everyone was looking towards Guanacaste and like,
Sí, sí,
was
sí,
looking
sí.
at another area. But I mean, Luis Fernando, in your opinion, like a lot of people came in and bought land and were looking to develop here. Okay. Like a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to develop my own subdivision or my own,
Mhm.
compound, whatever. What do people
Mhm.
really need to understand about doing that?
Well, it's um, it's it's um, it's like a checklist of things, right? Because first of all, like when we receive an investor or a client, because we like to call them investors, right? When we receive an investor, we address the investment in two ways. One, what do you want?
Yep.
Budget is not a problem, and or how much money do you want to invest?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's different, right? So when they are looking for developments, we always if somebody wants to develop, it's highly probable that they have real estates or realtors outside Costa Rica, right? So they already have this niche of the market, right? So when they want to develop, the first question is that we do is, who are you selling to, right? If you're selling to mid class, blue collars, white collars, I don't know, you name it. So that's number one. Number two, when do you want to sell? Because, for example, let's say you have 10 hectares of a lot. So do you want to sell privacy to I'm going to give you an example. We have a project called Serene Coast. We're developing near Playa Venado because we have an office in Playa Lagarto. That's where I live. That's near Nosara, San Juanillo, Opcional, and that area.
Area.
And we have 10 hectares there. So what are we planning? To sell privacy. So we are doing something we call in Spanish parcelamiento agrícola.
Yep.
That's like farms. What's funny or what's interesting about the farms is that you need 5,000 square meters properties, right? So in the 10 hectares, then you have 18 because
Yep.
you need to put roads and you need to put common areas and etc. So parcelamiento agrícola. My wife is my partner in our company. She's a lawyer who has specialized in real estate and everything. So what we do is if we have parcelamiento agrícola and we have the water from the asada or AIA or from our own well or in a concession and everything, we can deliver that project in 6 months because having a segregation for parcelamiento agrícola, super quick.
Yeah.
But but if the investor say, hey, I have 50 guys, I have my niche of the market, I can easily get 50 houses. So then we have to go to condominium that we call in Costa Rica, right?
Yep. Which is a lot
And,
more
and
complicated.
exactly, and more expensive because you then need environmental engineers, you need the Satena, you need the Mina, you need the Imbu. Well, I bet you know about it. But for our listeners, it's a 400% more expensive, like the development, the administration development of the project, and the timing. We like the fastest condominium that we had approved and segregated is 8 months. Fighting with Setena, fighting with the IMBU, fighting with municipality. So having a parcelamiento agrícola for 18 guys, 5,000 square meter land where you can build up to 300 in a house and more pool, barbecue, and everything with privacy in 3 months, let's say 4 months, it's super more easy and more cheap to do than the condominium. So that that's what we try to do with the investors, right? Try to get the most out of the money that they want to invest in Costa Rica, but it also depends on the niche of the market that they want to sell, right?
Luis Fernando, I mean, I agree with that. And I mean, getting a condominium in 8 months, I mean, I would definitely not, I would manage people's expectations. As you said, that's the quickest it's been done, but it can take 2 and 3 years, as you know.
Yes, exactly. Mm.
But I think it's also just the infrastructure required as well. Like people don't understand is that like, okay, I'm going to pay, $1 million for land and my infrastructure could be another $1 million. Like that's what they don't understand. They come with 1 million and go, I want to do this project. They're like, okay, I'm going to spend $700,000-800,000 on the land. And it's like, no, 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 no. You need 500,000 on land and $500,000 on all the infrastructure required,
Exactly.
and that's where I think a lot of people go wrong. And also not understanding the market here as well, like its location, but also just access to financing. I mean, it's not often, Luis Fernando, that a development happens and it's all sold out in 2 secs. I mean, like you go to Nasada, there are developments that are still trying to sell and having problems, selling. And I think that that's the bigger issue at the moment that we have is there were all these developments done, but now the developers aren't able to sell all these lots in certain areas.
Exactly. And all the things with the asada is troublesome. It's
Correct.
trouble. So, but yes, you're right. And what they need to do is to have somebody besides them, and like your company. I know you do
Or
that
your
for them
company.
too.
Yep.
Or yes, we try to bring the reality, and like you're saying, okay, you need 400,000 for infrastructure, ready to sell the lots, and you need another five for the lot. You need 900, then you need 1 million,
Yep.
or you have to change, like because like I was saying, a condominium, yes, but if you go to parcelamiento agrícola, then you can do,
It's a lot
the
easier.
infrastructure is yes, it's pretty easy. So then your amount of investment versus what you can sell in these smaller or bigger units, but a small quantity,
Yeah.
that might get you like an ROI bigger and quicker than having these tons of condominiums, right?
Yeah.
But it depends. It depends always on the type of client, because
Yeah.
some of them they know about this, some of them they don't. But you have to address them correctly. Yes.
But it's also is that again, yeah, I mean, you need to look at ROI or whatever it is. But I'd say that if you're looking at ROI, that you're in the wrong country, man. I mean, go to the US, you'll make more money, in the
See,
US. I mean, this is a country where
yes.
like you can make good ROI if you know what you're doing. But if you don't, like, and you don't have the right team, I mean, you'll get pantsed, man. Like, you'll
See,
in your wheels and be chasing your tail. And, I mean, sometimes here you have to ask three people. And then when you get the right answer from two people, then that's what you do, if that makes sense.
mhm.
But you can get three different answers sometimes.
Yes, or sometimes you don't even get the answer.
Correct. So that's why
See?
is your project is only as good as the team that you have on it here in this country. So you need to make sure you get a great team.
No, and you're right, and statistically talking, I can say to you that 60% of our clients right now,
Yep.
we call them rebound
Yep.
clients because they got dropped, they got scammed, they got wrong information, and now we are dealing with projects without budget, without water, without a lot of things because they got managed,
It
right?
it drives me nuts when again someone comes in, buys a bit of land, they get referred to a builder, and like no, they're like, no, I've got my builder, like we're all good to go. And I'm like, well, who's your architect? Well, it's the building company. And I'm like, wait, your building company is also the architect? Like you should probably speak to a couple of architects, but like architects are artists and designers, and that's what they're building. Like architects
Totally.
should not build, builders should not do architecture. Like they need to be separate things. And I'm not saying
Totally.
there aren't good companies out there that do have good architects in them, but like I like to separate concerns because it kind of keeps a balance in a project where you have great architects designing, you have then bid it, out to a variety of different companies. Because if you only have one company, man, I mean, we just got a bid back on a home that was like the lowest was 900 and the highest was 1.2. So that's a $300,000 swing. That's a 33% like price difference. Like if you choose one
Mhm.
company, which is it? Is it the 900,000 one or the 1.2 million one? Like you don't know. Uh,
Mhm.
but also there could be mistakes in the 900,000 one as well that you need to compare.
Totally. My father is also an engineer, and he
Yep.
taught me something that in the bidding process, the winner always for the winner always forgot something to bid,
Correct.
because
Correct.
because it's the lowest, so he
Yeah.
forgot something. The most important thing is like you're saying, like I'm gonna give you an example of our company. We are a project management and development company. We have builders that they have the small construction company, and we have architects that they have their company, and we work as a joint venture team, but the clients talk to different people, and we are well, in this case, my wife, as a lawyer, she works like a small trust, so we get the contract, we inspect, we approve the payments because we do breakdown of the payments, like tons of payments, because we need to be sure that everybody is working correctly, is being paid correctly, and not like some of the owners that they have all, or like these rebound clients that I'm talking about, they have given 50% of the project to begin
Which
to
is
a builder and a local builder. So it's insane. Like really, it's insane. But it's part of what's happening. So yes, I totally agree. People need to have a couple of quotes from architects, a couple of quotes at least from builders, and also check their experiences and everything. And something that the clients, because they don't know, obviously don't do in Costa Rica, is that they check the background of the engineer on the College of Engineers.
yep.
We have a super strong College of Engineers here, like the Sophia.
Very strong.
I bet you know it. And you just can have a call and say, hey, what? How did this engineer? Like for example, when we hire engineers, like junior engineers, we check their behavior even in the payments in the College of Engineers,
Yep.
and they can say, hey, he pays late, he so you get to know the feeling of who are you hiring. And also, as a foreigner, he can call the College of Engineers and say, I have found blueprints signed by engineers that are not even registered like a couple of years ago in the College of Engineers. So there are tools that the foreigners can use to check the background of everybody, but obviously they don't know, but they need a good team here to let them know that, right?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, look, we're both in the project management world, man. I mean, I'm always say to clients, don't be penny wise, pound foolish, which is that like, hey, I'm going to save money on this, but then later you have to end up coming back. Like, this is
Yeah.
not the country to do it in. Like, it's a beautiful country, man. But as you said, Luis, I mean, you give 50% to a construction company, that construction company could just disappear and you've got no recourse. And I think that that's the thing of there is very little recourse in this country. I mean, you can get it, but it
Yeah.
might take 5 to 10 years. And by that time, the company's gone, bankrupt, or like you just need to be really careful. I like to say we call ourselves like tiger rocks in our business, but like we're rocks that keep tigers away. Like, if the tiger sees the rock and goes, I'm not coming there. But I suppose in Costa Rica, we would be jaguar rocks, which is that like when the jaguars turn up, to try and get their meat, we're there with the rock and keep the jaguar away so that no one gets taken advantage of.
Exactly.
So,
And because and you know this, the process of getting money back, you sign with a corporation, the builder just builds up another corporation, that corporate the other turns into a ghost corporation, you
yep,
sue everybody, you do everybody, you never see the money.
correct. You end
And
up
it's
spending
and
more
that's
money, yeah, on lawyers
yes,
and never getting anything back.
yeah, totally. And that's the reality. So
Yeah.
like if the people are coming to Costa Rica, we are a good country. We have super good people,
Yep.
but like in all countries, there are bad people,
Yep.
there are bad investments, and they just need to check the team.
And I don't think a lot of the time there's bad intent, Luis Fernando. I think that sometimes it's just
Yes,
a lot of people have never seen this money before, or it's a foreman that started his construction company and doesn't know how to administer that money, or what's happening is they're taking money from one project to pay the next one because they can't administer their cash flow. Like you have to understand, it's still a very young country.
exactly. And there's something super important to add to that. That's a super smart point. And we have to add to that the pura vida feeling, right? That we have in Costa Rica. So and I totally agree. It's not because I'm from here, right? But we are not bad intent. We don't have bad intentions. Obviously, we have a lot of them,
Sure.
but I think the pura vida feeling. It's good for marketing, it's good for tourism, it's good to live because we are a community driven country, right? But the pura vida feeling for business, it's sometimes a little bit how can I say this? Stressful. Maybe the wrong word, but because so, like the foreman that now is a builder from a foreigner receives $200,000. He thinks that everything's pura vida, so he can pay some debts, buy a car, and then everything's gonna be okay. Don't worry, everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. But when they get to that okay, it's not okay, and they don't know what to do. Maybe they don't speak English that
Yeah.
well. They didn't have a contract even because sometimes the client thought of one side of a house and he's receiving another one, or even materials, or you name it.
Yep.
So I think also the pura vida feeling makes us with no bad intentions, but with the poor, because we are a young country, with the poor management skills that some of our local, because it, like to add to that, we are talking about the shoreline developments. And we are talking about small towns, because if you go to Heredia, to Alajuela, Costa Rica, and Cartago and San Jose, then you find more experienced people, right? But if you go to the shoreline, you find the foreman, you find the contractor that has done two houses, doesn't speak English. So we are super pura vida, but the pura vida sometimes kicks us in the back.
I get it, man. I get it. Yeah. But it's the beauty of what keeps this country, spectacular. So, I
Well,
mean, yeah,
yes, totally.
but I'd have it no other way. Well, Luis Fernando, this has been absolute great. My last question for you, sir. If you had $500,000 and you had to invest it into business or real estate in Costa Rica, what would you invest it in and why?
That's a good question.
500,000.
Well, we as like I'm talking about my wife and me
Yep.
because we have our company and we have two kids 7 years old and 4 years old. So obviously we are planning for the future, right? So right now, if we had $500,000, we can do two things. One, and as I was saying, get a small lot and do a parcelamiento agrícola to
Yep.
invest. Obviously have the water resource, because sometimes like 99% of the times the asada doesn't have water, because asadas are locally managed,
Yep.
and sometimes they don't have the experience. They're just local people. So if I had 500,000, I will find a lot without water, right? So I can get it a little bit more cheap, right? Not this dream prices. Go to the asada to see what they need. Get somebody. Well, we have it, but if it's somebody, get an engineer to talk to the asada to have a realistic quote to have water on the property, and if not, build a proper well and have a concession and everything. That there are lots of people to that, and build a parcelamiento agrícola. Because first of all, if you had the water, first of all you have a property without water, so you can bargain the price. Number two, you get the water, and you have the segregation done in 3 months, so it's ready to sell, right? So you can sell it. If you buy a property at, let's say, 250,000, you can invest in. I'm giving you the example of Serene Coastal project, and we're investing maybe 200 more in roads, a little gate.
Yep.
Even though Parcelamiento Agrícola is not private,
Yep.
but you put a little gate there, and you build an internal HOA between the owners and everything. But with 500,000, you can buy the land, fix the asada for the water, or get your own well, segregation, and a small road and a gate, and then you can sell it. If you have 20 units, 50,000 each, near the beach, super cheap, quick, and you have 1 million. So you double it like quickly, because some of the guys or some of the investors, they want to do condominiums, do 80 units, 100 units, but then we get to what you were saying earlier, that sometimes they just have dreams in the perspective that Costa Rica is a place to be a billionaire, or become a millionaire, but we are not. We're just one more super nice spot in the world, but we have our limitations, right? Some of the guys have built $2 million houses, but let's face it, that's like less than 0.1% of the clients that come here,
Yeah.
like in Bali, like in Thailand, like in, I don't know, everywhere. So
Yeah.
so we need to keep realistic, and the bottom line is that with 500,000, you can do a lot of things, and even you can buy a property in front of the public road,
And
build your house.
yep.
Yes, and have 3 lots. Build your house with that, a small, nice house with a 70 square meter of a house with deck, a very, very open, tropical, modern architecture, and have 2 more lots to be sold. And then you get at least what you invest, and you're even, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Luis Fernando, it's always great to speak with another, project manager out there that's, trying to
Thank you.
keep things cleaner in Costa Rica and fix again a lot of the mistakes that have been made. But I will put all of your contact details in the description down below. But very much appreciate you taking time to join us on the podcast.
It's vice versa. Thank you for having me, and I always extend the invitation that if you need something from us and we can help, we are the guys to call. Like you, like your company, and all the listeners out there, we are ready to rock and roll to help you.
Awesome, man. You have a great day.
Thank you. You too, my friend.
Well, from one project manager to another project manager, that's a great podcast there. And I mean, I think, this is not a country to be penny wise and pound foolish, as Luis said there. He said that, 60% of his projects are like rebound projects where stuff's gone wrong. And it's all over the country. Again, that Pura Vida attitude is what attracts people here, but it's also unfortunately what makes business very difficult here. So I would say to anyone that's looking to develop or build or buy in Costa Rica is just reach out to, trusted people. And, speak to us, speak to, the Rojas Consulting group there. Again, their contact details are in the description down below. And just have some conversations and just educate yourself a little bit. Just take the time. Don't rush in head first. Because again, the quickest way to lose $1 million in Costa Rica is come with two, because you'll lose one. So yeah. But again, anyone that's interested, feel free to reach out to us, info@investingcostarica.com. All of the contact details are in the description down below. If you're enjoying the podcast, guys, please hit subscribe. Please hit the like button. And again, we'll continue to do these and appreciate everybody taking the time to listen to it. Thanks very much. Bye.
The #1 Costa Rica real estate and investment podcast, bringing you experts from all over Costa Rica.